A lot of people don't know this, but I've spent most of my life feeling like my knees had about as much strength and resiliency as porcelain figurines tumbling down a staircase. And naturally, that's one of the reasons why I was always one of those people in the gym who was telling people to sit back into a squat. Don't let the knees go over the toes. Squat as if you're sitting back into a chair and all that sort of thing. And my knee issues never went away, figuring, well, I've just done permanent damage to my knees. But everything changed when I started doing the complete opposite. And I didn't know it at the time, but trying to prevent my knee from traveling forward was actually adding more fuel to the fire that was burning like crazy in my knees every time I tried to work my legs. And the reason is because actually it has nothing to do with the knees. I know a lot of times we get stuck with where the knee is traveling and where the knee is going and is it going too far forward and all these sorts of things. But this isn't where we should be putting our attention. Instead, we have to recognize that when we apply force to the body to do an exercise, the force is traveling through our body, kind of like electricity through a circuit. And whenever we have stress building up in a joint, what that usually means is the force isn't able to flow away from that joint in a healthy way. So in the case of knees, a lot of times this means there's not enough action in the ankle or in the hip. For me especially, it was the case that none of this stuff was working very well. So whenever I would try to do any sort of leg exercise, it would be all up in here and overload the knee. But when I started to move my knee forward, I got a lot more action in the ankle, calves are working a lot more, and now I'm getting action and activation back here. So all of the stress just gets sucked right into the harder working muscles, and I don't feel anything in the knees. And it was that activation of my hips, my hamstring is getting more motion in the other joints that basically cured my knee issues. It wasn't because I was preventing my knees from going forward. If anything, I was trying to get my knees to go forward as much as possible. And I went from someone who's saying I can't walk without knee pain to being able to do things like sissy squats without any trouble whatsoever, even without any sort of a warm up. Of course, I can't blame anybody for being nervous about that sort of thing and trying out like bringing the knees forward, because it can be hard and stressful, especially if you don't have good alignment of the forces in your leg, which is why I'm always such a big fan of isometrics, because these give you the ability to really maximize that range of motion while making your muscles tense up, so you can practice your hamstring and your glute and your quad engagement. You can see where you've got imbalances and instability issues, and yet it's very safe and gentle on the joint. So you can dial in all of that tension control and proper skeletal alignment that you need, weight distribution and everything else. So you learn how to keep your muscles engaged, to keep your joints safe in a very safe, practical manner. And above all, remember to work with your body, not ever against it. So if you are feeling some sort of pain or stress in the knees, don't fight it. Don't try to force your way through it. Regress the exercise. Maybe shift back and forward a little bit with your back knee on the floor. And that's a good mobility exercise. But it also helps you to dial in the technique to the point that will work best for you. Because once you can get to the point where there's no threat or fear of any sort of knee pain, your ability to condition your legs to be bigger, stronger, and more resilient will go through the roof. And as always, welcome questions down below in the comments. Check out these videos for more as well. Thanks much for watching. Be fit and live free.